Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mike Curtis, Amber Brown, Jerry Sartain,
Here.
Joe Machado,
Here.
Gary Farley,
Here.
Renee Curtis,
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
You have the June the 8th meeting minutes. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes?
Move to be approved, Mr.
Have
Chairman.
a motion, they be approved.
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Mike Curtis,
Yes.
Amber Brown, Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Joe Machado, Gary Farley,
Yes.
Renee Curtis, Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Got to turn it up.
All right, the first item of business we have is a request by MS Homes, and they're asking for the approval of establishment of an accessory dwelling. And what do you have on that, please?
Thank you. MSI Homes is requesting special exception approval for the establishment of an accessory dwelling unit for a property located in the RM zone, and this is in application BZA 2022-13. And this is the site. The aerial shows that the house is under construction, but the applicant would like to establish a pool house which will contain all of the elements that render it a dwelling unit, and therefore we have to process it as an accessory dwelling unit. The applicant has submitted the application, and the only reason that they're appearing before you here tonight is that it is less than 1 acre. The property is located along Sunfish Court. This is a photo of the home in question, and we posted a sign on the property and surrounding homes. This is in the Anglers Retreat subdivision. And you can see the surrounding area. The applicant indicates that the proposed pool house will be located towards the rear of the property next to the pool area. Yeah. And we received only informational calls regarding this application. We do find that it meets the criteria for accessory dwelling units. The applicant did not indicate that it was intended to be used as a dwelling unit, more so as a pool house, but in our experience, sometimes these have a tendency to evolve into something else. And just to note that this subdivision is served by a step system, so the septic lines are in the septic system. The septic tank is located in the front of the property as part of the step system, but there are no septic lines that are located on the property towards the back where the improvements are being proposed.
How close is this from the property line, and how close is it going to be to the adjacent structure?
Okay, so if you see, they are allowed to go up to 5 feet off of the side and rear property line. They're not proposing to go up to that. They're staying within the 10-foot building setback line that's established for the principal structure, but because this is a detached structure, it can go up to 5 feet. And they are staying out of the 20-foot building restriction line to the rear. So they are still meeting the setbacks as if it is a principal structure, but detached accessory structures are given more allowances.
Okay.
Cul-de-sac. And are we sure about these lines that are drawn there? Do we check those or not? Just
Well, this is a recently platted subdivision, so it's typically we're pretty confident that when they supply a plot plan that they're meeting the
well, if
requirements.
it's been recently platted, it probably is correct. Some of those old ones, you know.
Right, we have to look and measure.
I have another question. Sorry, Gary.
Under the specific standards for accessory dwelling units, under 3.3, according to this, the minimum area requirement of 300 square feet for the structure, but yet the application says it's only 273 square feet.
Is the building department, that 300 square feet comes from the International Building Code for the residential square footage. It was the building department that referred this application to us because they saw that it had a kitchen and a full bathroom and that it met our definition of a dwelling unit. Sometimes, and I don't have the exact number here in my, because sometimes they just show the square footage of the actual area, and maybe the structure might have a porch or something else that's not being included in that square footage. But I can't say that that's the case here.
Gary, did you want to follow up?
I was just going.
Mike, were you through?
I'm done, thank you.
I was just going to say, yeah, the 300 square foot comes from the residential code. So this is going to be a detached structure. Is it going to be stick built?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's not going to be. It's already built and moved in.
I believe it might have started as a pool house, and when it was inspected, it was determined that you can see that it's built to match the existing residence. It's recently the house was not.
I think where codes is coming from is, there's a kitchen. It's turning into a where somebody's going to be living in it.
Right.
Is what it is, the appearance that, and that's probably why codes did what they did.
Right. As part of the school facilities tax, they're required to look at the floor plan to determine the square footage. And so when they look at the plan, sometimes when we get the request for zoning compliance, they're just showing the exterior dimensions of the structure. They're not giving us the floor plan. So we'll approve the zoning compliance, send it downstairs, and when they're required to provide plans to the building department, it's discovered that there's a kitchen and there's a full bathroom, and then
I guess where I'm headed, and I think where codes is headed, is this is turning in not to be a pool house. This is turning into where someone's going to be living in it, and staying overnight.
Well, it might not be their intentions to have someone live in it full-time, but they may want to use it as a guest house for someone to come and visit and stay. It could evolve into something else, but it technically meets our definition of a dwelling unit. But there's a lot of people that have pool houses that don't necessarily use it for an additional dwelling. They use it just for a pool house and extra entertaining area. But in this case, we are treating it as a dwelling unit, and we're just covering all bases that if in the future it does transition into an accessory dwelling unit, they've got their approvals in place.
Also, looking at the plot plan here that was drawn up by a surveyor, it's showing it 15 foot by 13 foot, and when I calculate those together, that's 195 square feet. So it's not even 273 like the application says.
I think the applicant is here, and they can answer any questions about the discrepancies in the dimensions and the square footage that was listed in the application.
Any other questions of our staff? Okay. We have someone here representing this. If you'll come forward this time, please. Give us your name and any additional information you want to share, and there may be some questions for you.
My name is Jim Tucker. I'm the project manager for MSI Homes. And if you want me to go ahead and just start, I can knock out a couple of those questions real quick. So it was 300 square foot is what we permitted, and this was permitted 16 months ago. So the structure is built. When this ADU came up at the end, it was because I have a cooktop, and I have a stand-up shower. I do not have an oven. We do not have a full-size fridge. There's an ice maker, a mini fridge, a cooktop, and a stand-up shower and a toilet. So basically, it's a changing room with a snack bar situation. They have no intentions. The homeowners are here now. I've sold the house to them. We are on a temporary CO, and I agreed with inspection to stop construction on the pool house until we sorted this out. When we pulled permits, I wasn't made aware of the ADU requirement. I built probably 18 houses in this subdivision. There are a couple of others, and it's on me. I didn't know about it. Most of my work is in Wilson County, so I wasn't familiar with this. I know they don't have any intentions other than if they've got company over on a weekend, there's a chance somebody might crash on the floor. They're not renting it out. It's not for a business. It's all already fenced in, enclosed. CUD has already approved final step inspections for the one toilet. It's all tied into the existing step. And like I said, we're all but staining concrete floors and final inspection away. So square footage wise, 300 is what we applied for when I pulled the permit to build it. 273 came about because of the walls. You know, the slab is 300 square feet. Once we build it out, you lose a little bit with the walls, and we've got a little extra porch than we intended to. So it's all there. They have not touched it. They have left the doors closed. We all came in agreement. They took ownership on 6/2, I believe, June the 2nd, is when we closed the main house.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a hardwired smoke alarm inside that?
Everything meets codes, yes, sir. There's a smoke alarm in there. I believe there's a carbon monoxide alarm in there. It meets the same codes as the main house does, which we passed all, electrical inspections, plumbing, everything. So
You said,
So this plot plan that was submitted as part of the application that is stamped by a registered land surveyor is incorrect?
no, it should not be incorrect.
Okay, well, it says 15 by 13 is the pool house, and that's 195 square feet.
Then that is incorrect. I apologize. May I pull out my phone? I popped up the plot plan, the latest one too. Let me just confirm I've got the same one that you have, and we didn't send in the wrong deal here. I think we may have had some more room than we thought, and we may have stretched it a little bit. Well, I've got 15 by 13 on this one too, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that,
Yep.
my calculator says that's 195 square feet.
Yeah, that's the number that I get from that math too, yes. But I know we have
Okay,
been
any other
inspected on all
questions?
easements and
yes,
things, so.
yes, over here.
Joe, go ahead.
It says proposed on a plot plan. Is there a pool there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Renee? Okay. Any other question? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you very much.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this, if you'll come around at this time. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
I move be approved.
I'll
Have a
second.
motion to be approved. We have a second. We got a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mike Curtis,
No.
Amber Brown, Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item we have is a request by Jesus Ordaz. Okay. This is also for a special exemption approval of an accessory dwelling. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application BZA 2022-14 involves the property located at 665 Crescent Road. It's a request for special exception approval for the establishment of an accessory dwelling unit involving property located in the RM Medium Density Residential District. This is the site located at 665 Crescent Road. There's an existing home. This subdivision is served by a step system, and the applicant would like to establish an accessory dwelling unit for the purposes of having their elderly residents, parents, live with them. And it would be constructed towards the rear of the property. We placed a sign on the property to announce the zoning hearing. And this is the home in question, and the accessory dwelling unit will be located towards the back of this home. And you will see that they're showing the addition located towards the rear. There would actually be somewhat of like a carport attachment. And we received one informational call regarding this request and find that it meets the criteria for special exception.
Any questions to Danielle?
Oh, and the only reason it's appearing before you today is that it's less than an acre. So,
Okay. Do we have anyone here representing this? If you'll come around, please. Give us your name and any additional information you might have.
I'm Jesus Ordonez. I'm asking for permission to build this ADU for my parents. They're on the elderly side, fixed income, can't afford to pay rent, so we figured we'd help them out with losing a bit of property on their land.
Any questions? Did I get your name right?
Jesus Ordonez.
Pardon me? Close?
I do have a quick
I
question.
tried to learn a little Spanish, but it's getting bad. Unless you use it quite often.
Right.
I just need to know, is this going to be attached? I'm not sure if that was mentioned or not.
It will be 20 feet apart from my back door, but it will be attached with a roof like ours to theirs.
Like a walkway to the, okay.
I got a question. All right, you say it's for your elderly parents. At some point, they won't be with you. What are you going to do after that?
I have 3 little girls. We have 3 bedrooms, so we'll need an extra bedroom in the future.
Okay. So you won't be renting it out or anything like that?
Oh, no.
Anyone else? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this. Close the public hearing. You have a motion on it.
I move to approve it.
Have a
Second.
motion to be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Call the roll, please.
I second it.
Gary.
Mike
think
Curtis
Mike
seconded
Curtis beat Mr. Farley to the punch.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Hey, we'll make it Curtis Farley.
Hey,
There
it
you
don't
go.
matter. Hey.
Mike Curtis,
Yes.
Amber Brown,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Renee Curtis.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item is a request by Andrew Stover, who is requesting a special exemption for an accessory dwelling. What do you have on that?
Thank you. Application 2022-15 involves the property at 214 LeConte Court. It's a request for special exception approval for the establishment of an accessory dwelling unit involving a property located in the RM zone. And this property is located in the Valley View subdivision. Let me make sure I have that right. And it is served by a step system. They would like to establish a detached accessory dwelling unit, or pool house is what they're referring to it as, on the property for the purposes of private personal use. And the property measures less than an acre, so that automatically places it in the category of accessory dwelling units that require special exception. We received 2 informational calls regarding this application, and no one indicated being in favor or against. This building itself is already under construction. However, it's at the beginning stages. I guess when we went out there to post a sign and take photos, and imagine that the applicant would move forward with the construction of the building and just remove those elements. If they are denied, remove those elements, making it a dwelling unit because it has a full kitchen and a full bathroom and an area where someone could live independently from the principal residence. And these are the surrounding properties. And the applicant supplied all sides elevations. I just included the front and the rear elevation. It is going to be constructed to match the existing home. And you can see in the graphic here that it will be located to the side of the property. No one has indicated that it will have a separate access point. In our staff report, we indicated that they would use Glen Ridge Drive to access the property. And that concludes our presentation.
Your drawing and everything, you said a pool house. Well, I don't see a pool.
I believe the pool is being constructed and the applicant is here now.
Okay.
Any other questions of Danielle before we move on?
It doesn't show any floor plan whatsoever. Is there not a floor plan?
They may have included a floor plan, and I just didn't attach it into but I'm pretty certain a floor plan was supplied because that's why we determined that it was a dwelling unit. And that's on me that I didn't include the floor plan if they had supplied it with the application materials.
I may have missed it, but when they're less than an acre and it's even less than a half acre, are they still within where they got to cover so much, they can't cover more than a certain percentage of the
25% in the RM zone, are you talking about lot coverage? Yes, and I actually did take that into consideration when I was processing it because it looked like a lot for this particular property, but it fell within, it had several hundred square feet left. Pardon?
It meets everything then?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And if you guys would like for me to include that lot coverage percentage in future reports, I'd only really mention it if it exceeded that, but.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think since it's a corner lot with the large 2 front yards, it takes up a lot of that property for the setback.
I don't have the plat in front of me, but when we adopted the zoning ordinance in 2013, we allowed a special provision for alternate front yards. Now, it's detached accessory, and he's flush with the front of the house, so he's fine. He's not encroaching. But say, for instance, it was the other side, the other frontage, he may be allowed to go a little closer because it was detached, whereas the principal structure would still have to meet the 40-foot front setback. And on the plats that we're recording, because I think this section of Valley View was recorded before 2013, you're going to see a 40-foot setback requirement on both sides.
Good explain.
Thank you.
Will, do we have anyone here representing this? If you'll come forward, please. You'll just give us your name and any additional information you want to share with us.
My name's Andrew Stover, and just for clarification, we have not started building. Just the pool construction is the only thing that's why the fence is down. It looks like a construction zone. The pool is completed. The deck is completed. We're waiting on, we got to do a final inspection. I got to put the fence back up that's the last step I got. But that's any questions, feel free to answer. There is just only one entrance, and it's off the back porch. So you have to go across by the pool to get to the actual.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many, is it going to have a bedroom? Is it going to have bathrooms? What all is it going to have
I brought
in
the
it?
floor plan just in case, if you'd like to see it.
Please.
It does have a bathroom and a kitchenette. And
Just pass that around in case someone else wants to see it. Mike, did you want to see this? Amber, did you? Thank you for sharing that drawing. They didn't need to, okay?
I do, so, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to know what's actually going to be in it. I don't have to see it. Like, is there going to be like a bedding area? I don't know if you
That's
were
what I said.
headed there.
There's no bedroom. It doesn't have a closet or anything. We do have a what we call a flex space that we want to put for workout equipment. If you saw our existing house, it's considered a 2-car garage, but really 1 car can fit in it. And so we have a big storage area to put, I don't have everything goes in the attic for Christmas decorations and all. So we have a place to easily store that because I don't like getting in my attic.
So there is a room
There is a separate,
that could turn into a bedroom.
I guess if I sold it in the future to someone else, someone could do that, I guess.
Is there equipment in there for a kitchen,
There is
bathroom?
a kitchen and there is a bathroom, which is, again, for a pool house and not having wet clothes traipse through the main house is extremely important to us. But
I guess where our concerns are going, and these questions are coming from, is the potential of it being another structure where someone could be living in there, and we want to make sure if someone is living in there, if there's safety mechanisms in place to provide adequate safety.
For sure, I mean, it's going to be able to be built to all the city, county codes, I'm sure. So it's not been started. Obviously, I've just had the drawings done. But it'll definitely be up to code in every form and fashion. It will have a full bathroom, we don't have an oven in there, but we do have a refrigerator, TVs, and microwave, things of that nature. We plan to have in there. There's absolutely zero started, so.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I move for approval.
I have a motion to be approved. Need a second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Amber Brown,
No.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Gary Farley,
I'm going to pass.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item of business we have is a request by Lindsay Smith, who's special exemption for accessory structure before the principal structure. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application BCA 20. Thank you. Application BZA 2022-16 is a request for special exception for the establishment of an accessory structure before the principal structure for a property located in the RL zone. And this property is located off of Rhodes Lane. However, I believe they will be accessing the property through this private drive. And the applicant is seeking to build a structure for the purposes of storage for their personal items on the site before they actually can pull a permit for the principal structure. And I included some information from the applicant in your packets in their own words, but It is their intention to begin construction, but it's not within the next few months, so they would like to proceed with building the accessory structure. I believe that they will be preparing their current residence to sell, and they just need a space to store items in the interim. We posted a sign on the property, and we did receive several informational calls, but no one, once the use that was being requested was described, no one indicated opposition to the request. And this is the site in question. And it's a larger tract. I believe it's over 5 acres. Right. Normally, I have these open to this. It's a 7-acre site. And the applicant also provided some elevations of what the structure may look like. And, you know, they hope to build it to complement the future home that's going to be constructed. And they provided a plot plan showing the layout of all the structures, but the only structure in question tonight is this barn-like structure that's located close to Rhodes Lane. They are meeting the setback from Rhodes Lane, but this will be the location of the structure if you guys approve the request tonight. And that concludes our presentation.
Go ahead.
And so that, if I'm reading this thing right here, it's a 2,760 square foot structure.
Yes, sir.
If when they build the structure they're going to live in, how big of a structure do they have to build to meet the percentages?
Oh, well, okay, so the way we calculate, because it has changed a lot over the years, when a property exceeds 1 acre, they're allowed up to 5% of the land area in detached accessory structure area. So she has more than enough to work with. So, and obviously we'll keep track of lot coverage, but this is a pretty large site, and it's doubtful she'll even come close to the maximum.
Thank you.
What is the size of that?
If the address is Rhodes Lane, is that,
1,760 square feet is the barn. Pardon?
the address is Rhodes Lane, that's not considered their front yard?
That is the case with all of these. If you see, all
Yes.
of these homes that are accessed off the private drive are given a Rhodes Lane address. So I'm assuming that's just for mail delivery purposes.
So they don't, it's a corner lot, so they don't have 2 front yards?
Well, if you look at the plot plan, we
did.
asked her to revise it to show that it meets the 40-foot front yard setback. So just that it doesn't encroach into that, that
Yeah, I see.
requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Do we have someone here representing this? Quick, if you'll come around, please. If you could just give us your name and any additional information you want to share about this.
Yeah, it's Aaron Smith, and building the barn as a place where we can store our furniture before we build the new structure. So,
What would the barn be used for after your house is built?
like lawnmowers, furniture, or
Not a horse barn?
no.
Okay.
Any other
I
questions?
asked because agricultural would not require you to be here.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Kind of coming off of what he's talking about. So there won't be any wedding venues or anything like that in this barn afterwards? Okay.
Jerry, did you finish? Okay. Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
Motion to approve it.
Have a motion to
Second.
be approved. Got a second? All right. Call a roll, please.
Mike Curtis,
Yes.
Amber Brown, Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Renee Curtis, Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item is a request by Bobby Warren, who is requesting a special exemption for a dog boarding facility. And what do you have on that, please?
Okay. Item? Okay. Thank you. Application 2022-17 involves a property located at 3294 Midland Fosterville Road. It's a request for special exception for approval for the establishment of a dog boarding facility upon a property located in the AR Agricultural Residential Zoning District. And this is the site in question. It's a 9.79 acre parcel, and it recently was rezoned to AR to allow the applicant to come before you to request a special exception. Before the rezoning application was submitted, they came to our office or inquired as to what they needed to do in order to be able to board animals at this location. And we have we notified them that they would have to rezone the property. So they downzoned the property so they would be allowed to come before you for a special exception for kennel, because the kennels are not allowed even as a special exception in residential zones. And we have processed within the last 2 years this exact scenario. So they would like to establish the kennel towards the front of the property. The structure they are planning to build will be 28 by 68 feet long, and their hours of operation would be Sunday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and they plan to have a sign advertising the business. We did receive a couple informational calls. No one indicated being opposed to the request. And I imagine that prior to the zoning hearing, because the zoning sign's been out there for quite a while, we actually had to replace it when this case came through. But everyone has already, the neighborhood was probably already aware that this was their ultimate intention, was to establish the dog boarding facility on the property. And that concludes our presentation.
Any questions? Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please. Both of you can. Just give us your name and any additional information you want to share about this.
My name is Bobby
Let me ask you
Warren.
one thing here.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you have a cat place?
Well, actually,
We are,
They don't bark. Nobody knows it's there.
on the front of the building where the office is going to be when you pull into the entrance, we're going to have a reception area in the front, an office on one side with a small bathroom, and then on the other side, we want to put a cat area with different
Yeah.
people.
I'm an
We don't
animal
want
lover.
to
Yeah.
discriminate against cats.
No, definitely not.
No, I got 4.
I'm sorry. Any questions, please?
I do. I just want to know, like, how many dogs will you, like, board? That's one question that I have. And then also, like, will there be, like, play times? Like, are they going to be on leashes? Is that, like, enclosed area when they're able to do that?
I did submit a plan of the, like, what we kind of want it to look like. I don't know if you have it or not.
Oh, you don't have the
Yeah, like the actual, like, floor plan.
the pins?
Yeah.
No, I didn't include it.
Okay.
I see them there,
Yeah,
but I know they're only there for a certain amount of.
Outdoor, they'll be able to
Okay.
go outside if they want to, inside if they want to. We want
But
heated, cooled.
we will also have a fencing area around that area.
Yes, that's what I was
Yeah,
asking
each
too.
side will have us like, we don't know how big yet, but each side will have like a play yard. And like every 30 minutes, I'll switch a dog out. So they're not stuck in there. Like, I love my animals.
Well, and that's what my thought too, because I know they have to kind of be isolated, might need to go to sleep and things, but I know they'll have to come out. So
And it'll be
just want to make
covered,
sure they don't
too,
go loose.
like the first
and
one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, every one of them, there'll be 10 kennels on each side.
We're hoping.
It'll be the reception area, office, cat room, bathroom up front, go through a door to a hallway, 10 kennels on each side with indoor areas, and then there'll be a doggy door to go to the out area, which will be like that picture there.
Yeah,
And
we just
then-
kind of got an idea. with
Then
it.
it'll be fenced off around that for the extra run room.
How far is the closest house, those people that live right in front of you and beside of you there?
The closest house would be, my house is on the left side of that,
Yeah.
the rough area where we're planning on putting it, and the closest house would be the one to the right on the other side of the
How far is
pond.
that? So here's my question. You've got an open kennel, and I saw in your letter you talked about insulation for noise. How in the world are you going to keep the noise down when you've got open kennel?
Well, it will be, but some areas, those doors will be closed, so they're not outside, especially if it's hot outside.
And we'll have.
Well, hot or cool, your neighbors don't
And-
care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want them noisy either, because I live right there too. What we're gonna do is, once we put the perimeter fence in for the outside extra run, we are going to plant evergreens all the way around that to block the noise, and then there'll be another fence after that.
Insulation inside too for
Yeah.
sound and.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it
I know
as
you've got
quiet
your
as
9
possible.
acres or whatever, but there
Yes,
are
sir.
quite few people around you.
We
that-
Yes,
talked
sir.
to everybody, and we're all friendly with all our neighbors, and everyone was okay with it, and they got dogs, and
I got
Yeah,
two.
yeah, I definitely express it, especially to the neighbors right beside the pond,
yeah,
that I don't want to do anything to disturb any of my neighbors, and I don't want to hear dogs barking either. So whatever I've got to plant and put around that to make it as quiet as possible and block as much noise as possible, that's what I'll do.
We had another gentleman that was approved, and he was on Sims Road. I don't know, y'all are not on Sims Road, right?
Oh, in Midland, Fosterville Road.
Okay. Why is the Sims Road reference there, Danielle? Why is Sims Road referenced there? Okay, area description, the property is 979 acres located along Sims Road. Okay, because we did approve the one that was on Sims Road. It wouldn't make any sense to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But the guy on Sims Road does have the no bark collars.
oh, okay.
And, I mean, if you get approved, I would highly
I
suggest.
didn't even know that was like, is that
Yeah,
is that
and so
legal? I don't
he has
know.
no bark.
Yeah,
And I live right behind him, so there is no bark.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and he's also a sheriff's officer. I can't remember, do you remember his name, Danielle? No. Anyway, but it is on Sims Road.
Yeah, I don't even know where Sims Road is.
269 East, going toward Bell Buckle.
Oh, okay.
And it's the first road after the cemetery,
Okay,
like Miller's Grocery, that direction.
okay, yeah.
That way.
We'll
we
definitely
sold-
look into that too then.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
trains also.
I think we
Okay.
sold a goat to him.
I think we did too.
Yeah, I think we met him, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because he said he trained up
But
his dog.
he's really doing it upright,
Yeah.
so I'd highly suggest it. Even because you get 10 dogs barking at a smell or skunk or something, and it sounds like a pack of coyotes coming through.
Yeah, we're not far from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked, we actually discussed the kennels together
Yeah.
before, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
I
do
didn't
that
think
too,
about
because I don't want noise to disrupt anybody around me. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea, I like that.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
Motion to
I move we
approve.
approve. Oh, second.
Approve. Second?
I'll take the second.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call a roll, please.
Mike Curtis,
Yes.
Amber Brown, Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Do we have any other business? No? All right. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.